come to the school. I chill there all day.
Buddy. All righty. Let's test. Looking good. Get started then. Forward button. Happy unleavened bread, the seventh day. Right? Sanctified Sabbath for us. It's another opportunity for us to come together and hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. So today we're gonna finish up our breakdown of the book of Job. We got all the way to chapter 14 in part 1. So we're gonna kind of go through the rest of it and see what else we got here with the book of Job. But I want to quickly recap kind of some of the stuff that we talked about, because we are looking at Job, and remember he had 7 sons and 3 daughters, right? He had, I think, was it 7,000 sheep, if I'm not mistaken? He had like 3,000 some camels, you know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of oxen, a whole bunch of donkeys, right? But
500
then,
oxen, 500 donkeys, 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels.
right? So then, you know what I'm saying? The cattle got taken by you know what I'm saying, by the I think it was the Sabians that got the cattle, you know what I'm saying? Got the cattle and the donkeys. And after that, you had the
Yeah.
fire that came down and burnt up all the darn sheep, right? Then after that, the camels, the Chaldeans came and got all the camels, right? And then lastly, a strong wind, I think it came from the east. Strong wind came from the east, blew down the house on top of his kids and all his servants, right? So Job is being told about all this stuff. He lost his kids and he lost all his resources. The man is now in a state that we would consider depressed, right? So this kicked off a conversation between Job and I don't know what happened here. This kicked off a conversation between Job and all of his friends, right? Job sat there for 7 days. You know what I'm saying? No one said anything. Then Job popped off and Job just starts talking about curse the day I was born, right? Now you have to look at this from his friend's point of view. Job is seen as a righteous man, as this perfect man. His friends likely believe like nobody's perfect, right? Which is a fair thought, right? Nobody's perfect. So they probably always looking at him like, I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with you, but you hide it well. Then you see all this stuff happen to Job, and he's quiet for 7 days. He don't say nothing. He just sitting there scratching his sores and all his bumps and everything. He's scratching them, and he just sitting there in pain and misery. And for 7 days, you sitting there, nobody say a word because you don't feel like he want to hear nobody talk. He just want to sit in his misery, but you want to show you support him. So you and 2 of your other friends are sitting there with Job, and y'all sitting there and y'all comforting Job just in quietness. So sitting there and suffering with him, crying with him, all that stuff, right? 7 days straight, this thing happened. And then you see Job open his mouth, but it's not what you expected, right? You expected, okay, this self-righteous guy who clearly is hiding something because nobody can be perfect, right? So clearly he hiding something. Clearly God is getting at him about it. And what you hoping is like he just humble himself. Most High God gonna take care of him. It's gonna be all right. And as soon as he ready to talk, I'm gonna tell him that it's all gonna be all right. I'm gonna comfort him. I'm gonna be there, right? You ready to do all that. But the first thing out of his mouth is, curse the day I was born. Right? I wouldn't have to go through none of this if the day I was born was just cursed. I wouldn't even be here. This thing ain't fair. Why is it happening to me? All right? Just curse the day I was born. So you don't expect that that's what he gonna say. In your mind, you like, wait a minute, that's the last thing you should say. Because all you have to do is admit that you messed up. And the Most High God to take care of you. But no, the first thing you do is make it out like you a victim, right? And so that's how his friends responded to him. They basically letting him know, like, hey, you must have messed up. All you got to do is give yourself over to the Most High God, and it'll all be okay. So Eliphaz, his friend, spoke first, right, and just started telling them different things. Then all of a sudden, Job responded to Eliphaz like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad enough as it is, and you attacking me now too. You know what I'm saying? And then Bildad jumped in. That's another one of his friends. So when Bildad jumped in, he like, nah, you know what I'm saying? You just need to stop being foolish, stop talking crazy, and then at some point, you know what I'm saying, the Most High God to give you, you know what I'm saying, give you what you need, right? Then the Job responds to Bildad like, Bildad, I don't know if you know what you're talking about, right? He talking about, man, I understand God, I understand all the stuff that y'all understand, but I don't know if you know what you're talking about. Then Zophar jumps in. Zophar is like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Look, I've been listening to everybody speak, but now I got, you know what I'm saying, I got something to say. So Zophar calls him a self-righteous liar, right? Then Job responds to Zophar, right? And when he responded to Zophar, he spoke about a few different things. Throughout everything that Job has said so far up to this point, he has always maintained his righteousness, right? He's maintained all of his righteousness, right? So we're gonna kind of keep going. I don't know what's going on with my TV here. It looks like the connection is bad, but we're gonna kind of keep going, and I'll just put it up on the screen for y'all. So this is the book of Job. We're gonna start at verse chapter 15, and this is gonna be Eliphaz. This is Eliphaz's second time speaking, right? So we talked about how last in part one, we talked about how Eliphaz kind of kicked things off. Then Bildad spoke. Then Zophar had the chance to speak. Now Eliphaz is like, man, let me get back at this dude, Joe, because he's crazy. And they mind is like, you are being stubborn. All you got to do is confess to God that you messed up. Whatever it is you hiding, confess to God that you messed up. And this stuff will get better. But it's starting to be an argument. So people are being aggressive. Job is being sarcastic with them, calling them stupid, calling them unwise. Job is calling them unrighteous. They calling Job unrighteous. They calling Job foolish. They saying all these different. So now it's getting contentious, right? Where everybody just going back and forth. So let's see. This is Job chapter 15. Start me off at about verse 7. This is Eliphaz talking at Job chapter 15, verse 7. He about to accuse Job of all this unprofitable talk. In other words, he's saying you full of hot air. You know what I'm saying? He like, man, Job, you full of, like we would say today, you full of hot air, boy. You know what I'm saying? He looking like what you know that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? This is Job chapter 15, verse 1. Watch what the book say.
You want verse 7 or verse 1?
I mean verse 7, sorry. Yeah, verse 7.
Art thou the first man that was born, or wast thou made before the hills? Hast thou heard the secret of God, and dost thou restrain wisdom from thyself? Wisdom to thyself? What knowest thou that we know not? What understandest thou which is not in us? With us are both gray-headed and very aged men, much elder than thy father. Are the consolations of God small with thee? Is there any secret thing with thee? Why doth thine heart carry thee away? And what do
All
thy
right, so he
eyes
asked him,
do?
he's like, why you puffed all up? He said, when he said, why does your heart carry you away? Why you make yourself out to be like something great? You know what I'm saying? Like this, all knowing. That's what he's talking to Job about. He's like, man, why you make yourself to be, you know what I'm saying? What you think you know that I don't know? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you think? You think you just this all knowing person? Like, you think they looking at him like, you think you God? You think you on God level? That's how they looking at him right now, right? Jump down to a couple verses. Try verse 14.
What is man that he should be clean, and he which is born of a woman that he should be righteous?
Right?
Behold,
In their mind, no man is righteous. They're not wrong. What I want y'all to get is that his friends are not necessarily wrong about what they're saying, right? What they're saying have proper and applicable use to life. What they're saying technically is wise. The problem that we're going to see with his friends is the assumption that Job committed a sin. That's the only problem. That's the only problem. And that's how easy it is for us to judge something before the time, right? But what they're saying is no man can be righteous. Therefore, Job, you must have sinned, right? Keep going.
behold, he puts no trust in his saints. Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much more abominable and filthy is man which drinketh iniquity like water. I
Hmm.
will show thee, hear me, and that which I have seen I will declare. Which
Right?
wise men have
So he
told.
goes on, and for the next several verses, he's proven a lot of this is them proving how much they understand, right? So he goes on and he proves how much he understands about how God is going to judge the wicked and how God deals with evil, and he gives examples and parables and compares it. So he's showing Job, like, you're not the only one that knows stuff around here. Like, I'm Eliphaz. I know stuff too. I've been around too. My hair is gray too. Like, what you mean? Right? He trying to tell him, like, you're not the only one that knows stuff. Right? So then let's jump over into the next chapter. It's chapter 16. In chapter 16, we're going to see that Job responds, right? So we're going to start at verse 1, but Job is going to respond. He basically says his friends are miserable comforters. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are not helping me a bit, right? This is Job chapter 16, verse 1. Watch the book say.
And Job answered and said, I have heard many such things. Miserable comforters are you all. Shall vain words have an end? Or what emboldeneth thee that thou answerest? I also could speak as you do. If your soul were in my soul's stead, I could heap up words against you and shake my head in you. But I would strengthen you with my mouth, and the moving of my lips should assuage your grief. Though I speak, my grief is not assuaged, and though I forbear, what am I? What am I eased? But now he has made me weary. Thou hast made desolate all my company, and thou hast filled me with wrinkles, which is a witness against me, and my leanness rising up in me beareth witness to my face. He telleth
Right?
me.
So then after this, Job kind of goes on, but jump on down to verse 17. At verse 17, he starts to reaffirm um that basically what he's reaffirming that his friends are against him, right? And that it's like y'all are not helping me, right? You are actually against me right now. And then he just starts to kind of dismiss them, and he starts to actually look forward to the Messiah. He don't know he's doing it, but listen to what he says and how it applies to Yahushua, right? This is verse 17.
Not for any injustice in my hands, also my prayer is pure. O earth, cover not thou my blood, and let my cry have no place. Also now, behold, my witness is in heaven, and my record is on high. My friends scorn me, but my eye poureth out tears unto God. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God, as a man pleadeth for his neighbor. When a few
Right? He
years
said,
ago,
oh, that one might plead for a man with God. So, in other words, that somebody could go to God and be like, yo, 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 man, kind of look out for this guy, man. He going through it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, could someone talk to God for me? Oh, that someone might do this. Keep going. Watch this.
when a few years are come, then shall I go the way whence I shall not return.
Mm-hmm. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
Then go to chapter 17. All right, chapter 17, and just grab verse 10 for me real quick.
But as for you all, do you return and come now? For I cannot find one wise man among you. My days are
Right? So he
fast.
look at his friends and he tell them, all three of y'all, none of y'all are wise. I can't find not one of y'all are wise. See, you can see that he's shooting at them, right? And they shoot back. Well, they shot at him first, technically, by calling him a sinner. He didn't like that. He starts shooting back at them, so they start shooting back. So you see the conversation, it degrades, just like any argument that any of us have had with our friends, right? It start off as like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I just want you to understand me. Then somebody say something that offend the other one, and then you like, okay, but what about you when you did X, Y, and Z? You know what I'm saying? You start getting at your friend, and you might say something hurtful, and it might be true, right? But nevertheless, it's hurtful. It's not something that you would have said if you weren't in that argument. And it's the same thing. This a lot of times when we read the book of Job, we like we not placing ourselves in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not real to us. It's not in, and when it's not real to you, you don't get everything that's there. You know what I'm saying? You just look at, oh well, Job, look at his friends. His friends, his friends were against him. It's like, nah, you would be against your friend if you was in the same position. Right? The average of us are Job's friends every day in our life. And they're not, it's not like we would consider Job's friends bad people. If we walked up to them, we'd probably be like, man, these some good dudes. Right? These are by the world standards, by our standards even, these are good dudes. They just get into an argument with their friend based off of understanding. But everybody has a misunderstanding in this situation. Everybody. The Most High God hasn't revealed it yet. Right? The lesson here is that we have to think and be slow to judge everything. We have to think and to give the Most High God an opportunity to teach us. Right? Otherwise, we'll find ourselves in a situation where we don't understand and we make a decision as if we do understand, and the Most High God gonna bring it back to our face. Right? Go to chapter 18. We're gonna see Bildad jump in again. So Eliphaz spoke a second time. Now Eliphaz just got chopped up by Job. So Bildad about to jump in like, whoa, hold on. How long are you, Job, about to run your darn mouth? This is verse 1, chapter 18. Right? Chapter 18, verse 1. Watch this.
Then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said, How long will it be how long will it be ere you make an end of words? Mark, and afterwards we will speak. Mark, and afterwards we will speak. Wherefore we are counted as beasts and reputed vile in your sight.
Right? So he's looking at it like, oh, so you don't think we nothing. You think we some animals. The way you talking to us right now, you talking to us like, Joe, we ain't smart? Or we foolish? Oh, okay, you talking to us like we some animals out here. That's what he's saying to him. He's looking at Job like, where'd all this come from? Now think about it from their point of view. Job is the man, right? He probably always humble, always looking out for people. Everybody think Job is the greatest, right? When a person is like that, the people around them always have like this feeling like, man, you probably looking down on me. So just imagine how they felt normally. Although Job treat them nice, he always doing the right thing, cool. But then Job come out and call them foolish. Say that they really ain't wise. They don't really know what they talking about, right? Now all that is like you start to read into like, oh, you think we ain't on your level. You think, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff they men, it's ego, all this stuff is coming into play. So now he's looking at them like, oh, you just think we animals? You know what I'm saying? You think you the only one that's smart. You the only one that got wisdom. We animals around here. You know what I'm saying? We beasts. Keep going. Watch this.
He teareth himself in anger. Shall the earth be forsaken for thee? And shall the rock be removed out of his place? Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of
right. So he asked Job a question. He said, shall the earth be forsaken for you? In other words, should the Most High God stop caring about everybody else just for you? That's what he's saying. He's like, okay, you going through something, but you think the Most High God should stop because you remember Job keeps saying, man, if I could just talk to God. Remember, they don't have all this book that we have. They don't have all this information that we have. They at the very beginning, they don't have 1 ounce of scripture that we have right now. They don't have any of the Bible. They don't have Genesis. They don't have nothing. Genesis is being played out right now in their life, right? A lot of stuff that we reading about right now in Genesis, or that we just got done reading about in Genesis, that is being currently played out while they are all living. There is nothing written that you know what I'm saying, that's like what we have in scripture right now, right? They probably have some information. It's probably some stuff written, but it's not what we have in scripture right now, right? So they information about God is limited. So when they looking at Job like, man, if I could only talk to God, they got to guess like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, God is probably busy. That's probably why, you know what I'm saying, none of us get to talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, they probably like, he has an entire world to attend to. So they probably looking at God like God is sitting there like, okay, got to get to this part, got to get to that. So they looking like, so God stopped working on everything else just to attend to your issue. Do you know how small your issue got to be to God is what they trying to explain. And so he goes on and he starts to explain how things work. He explains how the wicked is in darkness and always they fall into a trap, right? But he goes on with a bunch of comparisons about all that. Then he jumps down, jump on down to verse 17. And in 17, he starts to talk about the wicked and how they have everything stripped away. But if you listen to what he's saying, he's really talking about Job. He's explaining what's happening to Job. So by implication, he's talking about Job being wicked. He's calling Job wicked, not directly, but by implication. He's describing what happens to the wicked, and what he's describing happens to be similar to what just happened to Job. This is verse 17. Watch this.
His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, as they that went before were affrighted. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not God.
Right? So at the end of it, he's telling them stuff that happened to you. I mean, he's saying it indirectly, right? But what Bildad is saying, he's like, man, look, this is what it looked like when somebody don't know God. I know you think you the man, Job. I know you think you know God. I know you think you the most righteous person ever. I know you think you never did nothing wrong. But what's happening to you is exactly what be happening to the people that don't know God. Right? Let's jump on. This is chapter 19. Chapter 19, Job responds. We can start at verse 1.
Then Job answered and said, how long will you vex my soul and break me in pieces with words? These 10 times have you reproached me. You are not ashamed that you make yourself strange to me. And be indeed that I have erred, mine error remaineth with myself. If I indeed, you will magnify yourselves against me and plead against me my reproach. Know now that God has overthrown me and has encompassed me with his net. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment. He has he has fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he has set darkness into my paths. He has stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head. He hath destroyed me on every side, and I am gone, and my hope hath he removed like a tree. He has also kindled his wrath against me, and counted me unto him as one of his enemies. His troops come together and raise up their way against me, and encamp round about my tabernacle. He has put my brethren far from me, and my acquaintances are very estranged from me. My kinsfolk have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me. They that dwell in mine house and my maidens count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I called my servant, and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. My breath was
Right?
strange to
So
my life.
he's telling them, he's like, man, listen, I've had enough. Like, it's enough happening to me. He's explaining this is the stuff that's happening to me. And on top of that, my friends are persecuting me. My friends are after me, and y'all accusing me of sin. Like, if I did sin, he said in the beginning, he said, if I did sin, then I sinned. Like, why are y'all piling on to me? Because now Job is kind of like, I didn't sin, but if I did, I don't know if I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly something happening. So I'm asking God, like, what did I do? Teach it to me. Right. And he gonna go, you know what I'm saying, a little bit later, he gonna go more into that. Jump on down to verse 21. So in verse 21, he's about to ask his friends to have pity on him, right? He's like, man, like, take it easy on me. Don't y'all see that I'm going through a lot? You know what I'm saying? Like this is tough. I'm sorry I was rude. You know what I'm saying? But like, take it easy on me. This is verse 21.
Have pity upon me, O ye my friends, for the hand of God has touched me. Why do ye persecute me as God, and are not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were now written. Oh, that they were printed in a book.
He
That
said,
they
what
would,
now?
oh, that my words were now written. Oh, that they were printed in a book. That
Right? A lot of things that Job ended up saying ends up happening exactly as, and we can't, it's easy for us after everything. We know the whole story. We got the whole book, right? So then when we go back and look at Job, I think we don't appreciate his faith, right? Job had so much faith without knowledge, right? Without knowledge, without we can have faith that Yahushua is gonna come and one day he's gonna advocate, or even right now, he advocates for us to the most high God. Right? We have faith in that because we read it, right? We have faith that we're gonna be resurrected because that's what's written in the book and we read it. Right? Imagine having that faith, but nobody ever told you that. You just, based off of what you knew about God, the limited information you knew about God, you just guessed and like, I don't know, this just has to be how it works. That's what Job has been doing. He talking about the resurrection. He talking about a man that intercedes to God, somebody who can talk directly to God on his behalf. right? That's Moses and that's Yahushua. Both of those haven't happened yet, right? He's asking for these things that has not happened yet. And because of his faith, the Most High God make it happen just as he said. And the one thing he just said is, oh, that my words were written in a book. And guess what the Most High God made happen? I wrote it in the book for us, right? Because the Most High God honors Job's faith. Even though Job about to be in trouble. At the end of the book, Most High God about to get at Job, right? But he honors his faith. That's what I want y'all to know, right? Sometimes we might think we doing good. We might think we perfect. And the Most High God might use that opportunity to show us something new. That's fine. That's a win for us. Anytime the Most High God take his time out to teach us something, that is a win for us. That's good. Maintain your confidence. Maintain your humility, though, right? Don't ever look at it like, you know what I'm saying, like I can't be taught nothing. You know what I'm saying? We should always look at any situation that we don't understand and look at it as, okay, Most High God, you got to teach me what's happening right now, right? I did what you said. I did everything I know is good. So clearly I'm missing something. I need you to teach me something right now. Go to real quick, grab maybe is it Habakkuk?
Yeah.
You might have to help me out. Habakkuk, is
Second
it
chapter.
chapter 1?
I think it's the second. Or
The
the end
second
of
one?
one. I know what you're talking about.
Help me find it real quick. I'll buy some time. You know what I'm saying? So we look at Job, and everybody has like a different. If you go into the Christian community right now, right? If anybody talk like Job, self-righteous, they gonna do exactly like his friends are doing. They gonna assume self-righteous. No, it's Jesus Christ and nothing else. You can't be in your own righteousness and all this silly stuff they be saying, right? There's a bunch of stuff that's not in the book. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of stuff. Sometimes it is in a book and they misapplying it just like Job's friends are, right? So we deal with the same types of things today. There is a push for us not to have confidence in God, confidence in our works with God, right? There's a push to make us not have any confidence in our works, right? You can't get in by your own works, by your own self effort. That self-righteousness is what they tell us. That is not true. That is not true. That is not what Paul said. That is not what any of this stuff said, but it's misapplied, right? We need to have confidence. We need to be able to say, no, I know for a fact I did everything that Mark 7 said. I stopped doing everything Mark 7 said stop do, right? I stopped everything that's documented in Ephesians 5. I stopped everything that's documented in 1 Corinthians 6. I stopped everything that's in Galatians 5. I stopped everything that's in Revelation 22, right? All the things that mention this is defiled, is on the outside, or it won't get into the kingdom. I stopped all those things. Most High God, why are all these things happening to me? Right? You should be confident in that. I know I'm doing what you told me to do. Then allow him to teach you what you might be missing, or whatever lesson it is that he want to teach you. Right? This is Happy. You find it for me?
You want when God speaks to him or his complaint?
I want his complaint. At the end of his complaint, he say, I'm gonna shut my darn mouth.
That's on the second chapter. So we're gonna read chapter 1 through 4, and then we're gonna read chapter 2, verse 1.
Okay. We're gonna read chapter 1, verse 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 1.
The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Lord, how long shall I cry and you will not hear? Even cry unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why does
Right? This is similar to what Job is saying, but Habakkuk is thousands of years after Job, right? Way after Job. Habakkuk got the law, he got Moses, he got maybe a couple prophets before him, right? So he has history. He had a book of Judges, the book of First Samuel. He got information that he can go off of, right? So Habakkuk then is saying, how long are you not going to, like, yo, hear me out, God? What's happening? You not paying attention. Same stuff Job is saying. But watch how Habakkuk learns from what Job did.
I cry aloud and you will not hear, even cry unto thee of violence and you will not save? Why do you show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me. and there are that rise up in strife and contention. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment does never go forth. For the wicked does compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeds. Verse
Chapter 2.
Yep.
So now we're going to Habakkuk chapter 2. I just want y'all to see how he goes. He keeps complaining, right? And he complains and runs his mouth about all this stuff that's happening. But watch how he catches himself at the end of his complaint.
I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
Right? So he's saying, I know I'm talking crazy. Right? He's looking at the Most High God. He's like, man, look, why you not listening? Why you letting all this stuff go by? Every time I turn around, you got these wicked Gentiles killing us. We got all my people. We your people, God. You gave us the law. And you punish us for not keeping the law. But these wicked Gentiles, they don't keep the law either. Why you let them kill us? Why you let them take over our places? Habakkuk is mad because his people are dying around him at the hand of some people that's, in his mind, more wicked than he is. More wicked than his people are. So at the end of it, he get off of it. He get it all off his chest. Then at the stop, he said, okay, I'm gonna stand on the tower. I'm gonna stand, in other words, I'm gonna stand high and I'm gonna pay attention to everything because I need to see how God is about to correct me. When he said reprove, he said, God is going to correct. I know I'm wrong. Like I know I'm misunderstanding something. I know I don't have the whole picture. You know what I'm saying? So I'm waiting for God to reprove me or to teach me is another way of saying reprove, right? To correct me. When you correct somebody, you teaching them something. You saying, yo, that's not the right way to do it. You should have done it this way. You're teaching them. So he's saying, I'm waiting to be reproved or be corrected or be taught. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
The Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the
Right? So
shall
look,
live by faith.
he said, the just shall live by faith. So he didn't ever answer none of the stuff. He didn't directly answer none of the stuff that Habakkuk does, but that's how God is. You're going to see that God ain't going to answer directly what Job said either. Right? But that's just how God is. That's how he operates. But let's go back to Job. This is Job chapter 19. I think we left off at verse like 22.
Yeah, he was saying he definitely didn't answer his question, but he let him know at the end of it, like the just gonna live by faith. Just shut up, you just do what I say. Whoever have faith in me, they gonna be all right.
Yep. With the Most High God, he not worried about like we be worried about like who die and who live. We be worrying about how long a life is. We be worrying about who got resources in this life and who's comfortable and who's not and who's on top and who's off. Like that's the kind of stuff that we worry about. But the Most High God is like, well, that's not the point. Let's like you if you look at it from the Most High God's point of view, it's like there are a lot of people that's on top and they going right to hell. Right? So the Most High God is like, the goal is not to be on top because that don't guarantee you nothing. The goal is not to have all the money. That's not going to guarantee you nothing. The goal is not to have a huge family because that's not going to guarantee you nothing. The goal is not to be loved by everybody because that's not going to guarantee you nothing. Right? The goal is the only thing that's going to guarantee you something is living by faith. What does it look like when you live by faith? You've repented. Right? That is the goal. That's the only thing to go. So you will notice that anytime anybody is talking to the Most High God, he's always going to be, if you're not asking him about that, he's probably not going to directly answer you. Right? He probably just going to refocus you on like, yo, focus on what is important, please. Right? I got a plan. I got stuff. This is what I need you to do. That's all I need you to focus on. All the rest of this stuff. But that is faith. Faith is saying, even if I don't got the whole picture, I'm about to follow what you're talking about. That's how all the prophets are chosen. And that's the type of faith that Job has. Right? That's the reason why Job is chosen in this sense, because you see his faith is so great that he's predicting just based off of his hope, right? Not based off of information or nothing, based off of his hope. Like, man, if my words were just written in a book, and guess what? It ends up happening. Oh man, even though I die, I'll be resurrected. Guess what? It ends up happening. That ends up being exactly what the Most High God had promised us. Right? This is give me chapter 19 of Job, Job chapter 19, verse 23.
Oh, that my words were now written. Oh, that they were printed in a book, that they were graven with an iron pen and laid in the rock forever. For I
Watch how he
know
talk
that,
about the resurrection.
for I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth.
Look, my Redeemer liveth, right? I know that my Redeemer is alive. This is before Yahushua was born, right? Before he is even heard. There's not one Israelite at this time, right? Not even one. Maybe Abraham is alive. Maybe not though. I don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't even know, right? We don't know. Look, he don't know nothing. He's saying, but I know one thing: my Redeemer is alive. What else?
And that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth.
And at the latter day upon the earth, he's gonna stand. And what else gonna happen, Job?
And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my
Look,
flesh,
after I'm dead and worms eat up all the flesh from my body in the ground, I'm dead and rotten. He said, after all that happened, what's gonna happen, Job?
yet in my flesh shall I see God.
Nevertheless, after all my flesh is ate up, I just deteriorated, I'm dead. Still though, in my very flesh that got ate up, I'm still gonna do what?
I shall see God.
Y'all don't like, we don't appreciate what we're reading. We don't appreciate that someone, before ever being taught about the gospel, there is no gospel, there's no law, there's no Moses, there's no nothing. This man is able, just purely based off of his confidence in what he has with God, his confidence that I am following what God say, the Most High God give him this level of faith. It don't come from Job. You think that came from Job? You think Job thought that up? Like, oh, let me imagine something, a resurrection. That comes from God. But God gives that to the people that are faithful. When you are faith, it's a lot of people. If you just drop any random person on any random spot in my Bible studies, that person will likely look at it and be like, that sounds crazy. If I just drop somebody in, it just start the video right where it says, the worms is being eaten up my body, but yet in my flesh, I'm gonna see, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see God. They gonna look at that and be like, that doesn't even make sense. If your worms are ate up into your flesh, how in the world are you gonna see? You're already dead and gone, like nobody's resurrected. That don't make sense. This stuff is a fairy tale. Right? They brain don't comprehend it because they have zero obedience to the Most High God. That it doesn't make any sense to them. They haven't committed themselves, they haven't trusted, they don't look, so it doesn't make sense to them. We look stupid to them. For us, it makes sense because we've been taught the gospel and we've developed trust in the Most High God. So now we've been able to see things that are not as if they are, right? Things that don't exist, we can see them as if they are. For the rest of the people, it's like, no, they develop trust in science and everything. And so what they trust is only believe what you have already seen. So if something happened a long time ago and they didn't see it, they don't believe it. That's why they start, like, if you look up in the history and you see the historians around just after the time that Yahushua was born, all of them talk about Yahushua. Every one of them talk about Yahushua, right? None of them talk about Yahushua as if he wasn't real or if he wasn't a real person. Every one of them talk about him like he's a real person, that like he really existed, and they don't even agree with him, right? They talk about Yahushua like, man, it's this guy that everybody just start following this false religion he was on. They thought Yahushua was teaching a false religion too. But guess what? They never pretended that they never said he wasn't a real God. All of them around the time that Yahushua was living acknowledged that this was a real guy. This was a real person. But guess what? People today, we didn't see it. So since they rely on science, they make themselves dumb because they're like, well, there's no evidence that this, of course there's no evidence because you can't dig up his bones no more. And there's people that's trying to hide the evidence that is out there, right? Really, there is plenty of evidence, right? But in their mind, we didn't see it, so he wasn't real. So you got a bunch of people in their ignorance that don't even believe that Yahushua was a real person. But it's all because they have to rely on something that they've experienced or somebody that they trust. have experienced, and they don't have nobody trustworthy. So because of that, they don't have faith in God. They have faith in other people. They have faith in scientists and historians and all that. And those scientists and historians lie to them. Meanwhile, we have faith in the Most High God who knows and sees everything. So when he says something to us, we trust what he says, whether we saw it or not. We trust what he says. And then from that, he starts to reveal evidence to us that makes the world clear to us. This is what he's doing with Job. Although these things have never happened, and although Job has never seen these things, because he has a level of trust with God, the Most High God implants these ideas in his head to where he can describe the resurrection just as if it came out of the New Testament, which is thousands and thousands of years away from his time. Hasn't happened yet, right? This is amazing when you look at it and understand how it's happening, right? Job is talking about the worm's gonna eat my flesh, but somehow I'm gonna have flesh again and I'm gonna see God. That's the resurrection he's talking about. Keep going, watch this.
Whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins be consumed within me. But ye should say, why persecute we him, seeing the root of the matter is found in me? Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath brings the punishment of the sword, that ye may know that there is a judgment.
All right. Jump over into chapter 20. So in chapter 20, Zophar jumps back in. And this is Zophar's second time speaking himself. Right. So Zophar jumped back in, and Zophar he says, well, let's we don't even have to read this one. Let's just kind of quickly recap what Zophar is saying. So Zophar said he assures Job at the beginning. He's saying, look, if there is success with the wicked folks, it don't last long. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing is temporary with the wicked people. So wicked people are successful, yes, but it's temporary. What he's doing is he's telling Job, like, yeah, you had your time, right? He's sending little subliminal shots at Job. He tell you had your time at the top. It's temporary because you wicked, right? Then he goes on. He goes on. He goes deep into explaining the outcomes of the wicked, right? The wicked folks do this, and when the wicked happen, God does this to them. So he goes deep and just showing everybody like I understand how the world works. Then he at the end of it he explains iniquity and how the wicked is going to be revealed. So in other words, how the wickedness of the earth is going to be revealed to all the people. So everybody going to know who wicked at the end, right? Again, all this stuff is kind of subliminal shots at Job. He kind of letting Job know that like I'm trying to explain to you why this is happening to you. So now let's go to chapter 21 where Job responds. This is chapter 21. Give me verse 7. Right. So in verse 7, Job refutes what Zophar is saying. So Zophar was talking about the wicked and how the wicked work. And so now Job is about to try to pick out what's wrong in what Zophar is saying. Let's start at verse 7.
Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power? Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. Their bull gendereth and faileth not. Their cow calveth, gendereth and faileth not. Their cow calveth and casteth not her calf. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth, and in a moment go down to the grave. Therefore they say unto God, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have? If we pray unto him, lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. How often is the candle of the wicked put out? And how often comes their destruction upon them? God distributeth sorrows in his anger. They are as stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storm carrieth away. God layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it.
All right. Jump on down to verse 22. It's Job chapter 21, verse 22.
Shall any teach God knowledge, seeing he judges those that are high? One dies in his full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet. His breasts are full of milk, and his bones are moistened with sorrow. And another dieth in the bitterness of his soul, and never eateth with pleasure. They shall lie down alike in the dust, and the worm shall cover them. Behold, I know your thoughts and the devices which you wrongfully imagine against me. For ye say, where is the house of the prince? And where are the dwelling places of the wicked? Have ye not asked them that go by the way? And do you not know their tokens? That the wicked is reserved in the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth on the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face, and who shall repay him what he has done? Ye shall.
Right? So he's imagining judgment day also. Right? Again, this is his faith talking. There's no way that Job came up with this stuff on his own. The Most High God is putting this stuff in his heart, and Job is just talking. He don't have no information on this stuff. He's imagining judgment day. Then jump on down to verse 34. Well, no, 27 first. 27.
Behold, I know your thoughts and the devices which you wrongfully imagine against me.
Right? So here he's telling them, you are accusing me incorrectly. Right? Now jump on down to verse 34.
How then comfort ye me in vain, seeing in your answers they remain falsehood?
Right? So in other words, he's saying, y'all trying to comfort me, but y'all lying on me. Right? You lying on me. I didn't do nothing wrong. You can't point out what I did wrong. So now you just making stuff up. So you have falsehoods that you putting against me. Right? This is chapter 22. This is Eliphaz, third time talking, right? So Eliphaz come back the third time, verse 1. Watch what he said.
Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, can a man be profitable unto God as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself?
Right? We know this because Yahushua told us the same thing, didn't he? He said, after you get done, this is what Yahushua said. Yahushua said, after you get done doing everything that Yah commands you to do, you should look at yourself as an unprofitable servant. That is a teaching of Yahushua. So what Eliphaz is saying here is not wrong, right? Read it again. Watch this.
Can a man be profitable unto God as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it
Keep
any
going.
pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it
Right? Does it do anything for God, you being righteous? Right? Keep going.
or is it gain to him that you make thy ways perfect? Will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter with thee into judgment? Is not thy wickedness great and thine iniquities infinite? For thou hast taken a pledge from thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink, and thou hast withholden bread from the hungry. But
Right?
as
So
for
now he's accusing Job of all the stuff that he believes Job has done wrong. He's like, in other words, he kind of telling them like, don't try to make it look like every time there's been a hungry person, you looked out for them. Every time somebody needed you, you gave them clothes. He's telling them like, then you messed up somewhere along the way, right? Jump on down to verse 10.
therefore snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubles thee, or darkness that thou canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold, the height of the stars, how high they are. And thou sayest, how does God know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? Thick clouds are a covering to him that he seeth not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven. Hast thou marked the old way which wicked men have trodden, which were cut down out of the time, whose foundations was overflown with a flood? Which said unto God, depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. The righteous see it and are glad, and the innocent laugh them to scorn. Whereas our substance is not cut down, but the raiment of them the fire consumes.
All
Think
right. So
not.
basically, and again, in a subtle way, he's telling Job, like, this is like, you're the reason that these things are happening. All right, this stuff is happening because you sinned or because you messed up somewhere along the way. And then he's also explaining to him that the Most High God is hiding himself from you. Right? He way up in the clouds. You know what I'm saying? Or he way up beyond the clouds. And then it's clouds that's covering so that he don't see. So he basically saying he hiding himself, like he purposely not seeing you right now. Right? That's why this stuff is happening to you, because you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to. So at the end of the chapter, we don't have to read it, but at the end of the chapter, he goes on and he's urging Job to repent. Right? He's like, man, look, just return to the Most High God. And if you do that, he'll bring peace. He'll establish your way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want, like, when we listen to this, it sounds harsh what the friends are saying, but the friends are being hard. Like, you ever had, I want y'all to see it from their point of view. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever had like a friend that you look at and they playing the victim, right? And at first you play into it. You're like, oh no, that, you know what I'm saying? But then they in this rut and they don't want to pick themselves up. They just stuck there in this victimhood. But you know it's things that they could do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just kind of own some of this stuff and you take accountability for some of this stuff, like, you could turn your situation around like that. But now you in this depressed state because you see yourself as a victim and that everything is happening to you. So usually when you got friends like that, you might start off soft on them, like, oh, I'm gonna be all right, you know, I'm with you every step of the way, this, that, and other. And they just keep saying, but I just don't understand why this stuff is happening. Like, it's not fair. This stuff just keeps happening. I wish I was just never here, this, that, and other, right? And then after a while, you kind of change your tune with them because it's like, okay, they need a little bit tougher love. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need a push. They stuck in this spot of victimhood. They need a push to seeing that they own this, that they can take control, that they own their own destiny, right? You can make decisions that change your situation right now, right? So you get a little tougher with them, and be like, no, no, no. Look, some of this stuff is your fault though. You know you shouldn't have said X, Y, and Z to your boyfriend or to your girlfriend. Like, you know this, that, and the other, da, da, da. You know you messed up too in your situation. So look, this is what you need to do. Pick yourself up, go out there, make better decisions. Everything will be all right. So we've all been that friend, right? Where we had to get a little tough on our friend to push him. This is what Job's friends are doing right now. They just being they being a little tough because Job is being tough back. And in their mind, he being stubborn. They like, okay, let me get a little tougher just to push him to a point where he'll change. But almost all of them at the end of their chapters, they are saying to him, look, man, they urging him, just repent. Give it to the Most High God. Trust me, the Most High God will turn this around for you. That's the same thing that Eliphaz did here. Let's go to the next chapter. This is chapter 23. Job is responding real quick. This is chapter 23, verse 1.
Then Job answered and said, even today is my complaint bitter. My stroke is heavier than my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. I would order my cause before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words which he would answer me and understand what he would say unto me.
Right? So he's saying, man, I wish I could argue with God. He's like, I would form my argument. I got a case. I have a case. If you give me a court date with God, I have a case. I will form my argument and then I'll hear him out. Like, I will hear what he has to say to me and see what needs to happen. But I have a case against God right now. Right? This is chapter 23, verse 12. I'm sorry, verse 8. Watch how Job maintains his righteousness, right? At no point is he trying to, there's no point he's staying. He made a couple comments like, oh, well, maybe I did sin, you know what I'm saying? But show me what it is. Or if I sin, ain't it in me? You know what I'm saying? And I think he's about to make a comment about how he sinned in his youth. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in the next few chapters. You know what I'm saying? But he maintains his righteousness. He keep reminding him, like, I ain't did nothing wrong now. This is verse 8. 23 verse 8.
Behold, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive him. On the left hand, where he does work, but I cannot behold him. He hides himself on the right hand, that I cannot see him. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. My foot has held his steps, and his ways have I kept and not declined. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. But he is the one mind, and who can turn him? He is in one mind, and who can turn him? And what his soul desires, even that he does. For he performs the thing that is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Therefore am I troubled at his presence. When I consider, I am afraid of him. For God makes my heart soft, and the Almighty troubles me, because I was not
Right?
cut off
So
before
what
he
he's
started.
saying is, listen, I don't know what the Most High God is doing, and I don't know why he's doing it. All I know is I've maintained my ways with him. But he made his mind up that this is what he want to do to me. So it's happening because who can change what the Most High God is going to do? But I know I ain't done nothing wrong, right? So then jump over to chapter 24. Chapter 24, Give me verse 22. Matter of fact, we ain't even got to get this. Give me go to chapter 25. But here in chapter 24, he describes, similar to what Zophar was describing, that the wicked sit high, but they sit there temporarily. Right? So remember, he refuted what Zophar was saying. Zophar said the exact same thing he just said, but when he went back to, he refuted it. He is like, nah, there are examples. Job was telling Zophar, nah, there are examples where the wicked is on top and they stay on top and they die on top, right? So he did show there was example, but then he come back and he confirmed the same thing that Zophar said, that yeah, the wicked is only on top for a little while, right? It's just interesting to see that because both are true. And I think that was Job's point to Zophar, is that yeah, the wicked only on top for a little bit, but there are some wicked people that be on top for forever. So you can't just make it look like I'm automatically wicked just because, you know what I'm saying, like my reign at the top appears to be temporary right now. This is verse 1 of chapter 25.
Then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said, Dominion and fear are with him. He maketh peace in his high places. Is there any number of his armies? And upon whom does not his light arise? How then can man be justified with God? Or how can he be clean that is born of a woman?
Right?
Behold,
Now he's asking the question, similar to what Eliphaz said, is like, how is it possible that a man can be righteous with God? Right? You start off dirty. Right? I'm telling you, y'all may not get it or see it. His friends are all Christians. Like every one of them are darn Christians. Like that's it. Like they all are like Christianity 101 in what they saying. I be finding it funny when Christians read this and they be like, how are y'all on Job's side? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know y'all ain't on Job's side because everything that his friends are saying are exactly like from Christian teaching. Right? This is chapter 26. Give me so this is the last time that Job is gonna speak, I think. But chapter 29, I think this is the last time Job speaks. So Job is about to kind of go off for a little bit, and he's about to try to address all of them and just kind of put an end to it. So he goes on for a few chapters here, just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like going on. So we're gonna grab a few things out that he speaks out. So he asked Bildad at verse 1. He said, how has he been helpful at all? Like, how are you even helpful to me? You know what I'm saying? I'm going through all this stuff. How are you helping me? This is verse 1. It's 26, verse 1.
Job answered and said, How hast thou helped him that is without power? How savest thou the arm that has no strength? How hast thou consulted him that has no wisdom? And how hast thou plentifully declared the thing as it is? To whom hast thou uttered words, and whose spirit came from you? Dead things are formed from under the waters, and the inhabitants thereof. Hell is naked before him, and destruction has no covering. He
Right.
stretches
So
out.
now he goes on to kind of talk about the Most High God and how the world works. But then let's jump to the next chapter, verse 1. It's chapter 27, verse 1. Here, look how Job is going to maintain his righteousness, and then he's going to say that he's never going to give up on his righteousness, right? He's never going to like pretend that he sinned just because everybody is saying that about him, right? I love this about Job, right? This is the confidence. It's like I seriously do not know. If I sin, I don't know what it is. So I'm not about to pretend like maybe I sinned just because y'all. I'm not gonna call myself a sinner just because y'all. In my mind, I am not a sinner. I don't know that I sinned. So he maintains that and he makes that clear. This is verse 1 of chapter 27.
Moreover, Job continued his parable and said, As God lives, who has taken away my judgment, and the Almighty who has vexed my soul, all the while my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. My lips shall not speak wickedness, nor my tongue utter deceit. God forbid that I should justify you. Till I die, I will not remove my integrity from me. My righteousness I hold fast and will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me so long as I live. Let my
Right?
enemies.
So then all of chapter 28, all like the rest of chapter 27 and all of chapter 28, Job goes on and on and on about kind of like all of them are doing this back and forth. Like a lot of the stuff we skipping is them kind of flexing their knowledge, right? Kind of like letting everybody know, like, you know what I'm saying, You know what I'm saying? Like they like poetically is like I know that the sun rises in the east and it sets this way and how does the bird get its food? You know what I'm saying? Like it goes through all that. You're gonna see the most high God take what they doing, and when we get to him, he gonna finally respond at the end. He gonna respond in the same way, but he gonna get to asking questions that nobody understands, stuff that they ain't considered, right? So Job go on to flex his knowledge for like a chapter and a half, right? Then let's jump over into chapter 29. Chapter 29, give me verse 18.
Then I said, I shall die in my nest, and I shall multiply my days as the sand. My root was spread out by the waters, and the dew lay all night upon my branch. My glory was fresh in me, and my bow was renewed in my hand.
Right? So right now he's reminiscing of how things used to be. Like, man, I used to be the man. That's what basically what he's saying is, man, I used to be the man out here in these streets. Don't y'all know that? Like that's what he's saying to him. Like, don't y'all know I used to be the man out here in these streets. Y'all know this about me, right? Keep going.
My root was spread out by the waters, and the dew lay all night upon my branch. My glory was fresh in me, and my bow was renewed in my hand. Unto me men gave ear, and waited, and kept silence at my counsel. After
Listen,
my words,
when
they
I
spake not
speak,
again.
everybody listen. Is what he telling them. He telling a friend, he like, I don't know what y'all got going on. Y'all know who I am. When I speak, everybody listen. Everybody know I got wisdom coming out of my mouth. It's just y'all right now pretending like y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Pretending like I don't know what I'm talking about, rather. Right? He's saying that's just y'all talking. Y'all know how I give it up. Y'all know who I am. Everybody know who I am. When I speak, everybody keeps silence because they know they listening to what I'm saying because what I say be important. Right? Keep going. Job know who he is and he don't pretend like he ain't who he is.
And after my
That's
words,
false humility with people who do that. Right? When they try to pretend they, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, well, I'm not sure. This, that, no, Job said, no, I'm sure about who I am. I know exactly who I am. All right, keep going.
after my words they spake not again, and my speech dropped upon them. And they waited for me as for the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the latter rain. If I laughed on them, they believed it not. In the light of my countenance they cast not down. I choose out their way, and sat chief, and dwelt as a king in the army, as one that comforted the mourners.
Right, now let's jump over into chapter 30. So chapter 30, we can do chapter 30, verse 1. So in chapter 30, he's explaining pretty much kind of continuing on with what he had just talking about, but he's explaining like my have things changed. Like I used to be the man, but now he's going on to like, nah, things reversed. They changed now. This is verse 1 of chapter 30.
But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, flying into the wilderness in former time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and jumper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in caves on the earth, and in the flocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now am I their song, yea, I am their byword. They abhorred me.
Right. So now let's jump over into we're gonna jump over into chapter 32 actually, right? We're gonna skip 31. So 31, I just want y'all to know that Job spends all of 31 pleading to be judged, right? Basically saying, like, give me my day with the most high God, let him see what's going on. I just want to talk to him about what's going on and let God search me out for sin. If I sinned, then let me know what that sin was, right? Then he urges that he's innocent, and at the end of it, if he's not, then he should be punished, right? If he's not innocent, I will accept whatever the judgment is, but I really, really believe that I'm innocent. I really, really believe I didn't do anything wrong, right? So Sister Pamela also asked a question before we move on to the next part. Sister Pamela asked a question. She said, shouldn't Job think about at least the sins of his forefathers, right? When we pray about the sins of our forefathers, right? We have to confess the sins of our forefathers. But why do we have to confess the sins of our forefathers? Why does that apply to us specifically?
Because I was put in our law in the sense that our forefathers that did set us up in a position that didn't necessarily give us the best outcome because of the
Right,
promises of
right.
the land and the promises of Abraham and all that stuff.
That's right. So our covenant with the Most High God is inclusive of all of our people. It's not like a one on. Our covenant with the Most High God is not a one to one thing. It's not like I'm only uh, I'm only responsible for what I do, but it's not like the consequences that I'm going to experience are only due based off of what I do. Right? This is not something that Job is in. There is no covenant. So the Most High God never gave him a commandment that you have to confess the sins of your forefathers when I walk away from you or anything like that. He don't have that context, right? But we gonna learn exactly what Yah's problem is with Job, right? And he gonna kind of go into it. And really, we already learned it. We saw what Job's problem is exactly what we saw with Habakkuk. Habakkuk at the very end of it said, all right, I'm gonna shut my mouth now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna wait and I'm gonna watch and show how I'm reproved. Right? So that's essentially all that happens with Job. And Job is saying that in and out, right? He's saying that in and out, but Job is not really considering in a lot of things that he's saying, he's not considering the possibility that I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? Like there's more to it than what I think. He's not really leaving that thing too open. He is sometimes, but there's a lot of stuff that he's already said that's like it's pointless to be righteous. All right, you remember in part 1 we read that where he pretty much saying it's pointless to be righteous. That's a big, you know what I'm saying? That's a basically what you're doing when you say that is God is wrong and I'm right. Right? And that's what God's problem is with that. It's like you're not leaving any opportunity open. But verse 32 would be a good chapter 32 would be a good segue into that. So now we about to meet a man named Elihu, right? And Elihu is a young man. These other men, Job and his 3 friends, all of them old. Eliphaz, old. Bildad, old. Zophar, old. Job, old. All these boys is old. So you could tell the culture of the people at that time, very respectful. You see that it ain't telling us nothing about nobody cutting nobody off, right? Job get to get his full thought out, and he don't really talk all that long. He go for maybe a chapter or 2, except for that last one. He went for a long time after that, right? But the other ones, he go for a chapter, maybe 2. Everybody else, they get their turn to speak, and everybody let each other speak. It's very respectful. They take turns. They hear each other out completely. They form their response. Excuse me. They form their response. They don't try to take up the whole time by forming their response. They try to keep it succinct, speak for a little bit, say their piece, and then they let the next person speak. That's how it goes. So Elihu, they done spoke 3 times, right? Right? It's Job spoke. Job spoke a lot, but his friends have taken each 3 different times speaking to Job and trying to convince him of what they need to convince him of, right? Elihu is sitting around and he's watching this go down, but he's a young boy, right? So because he's young, he don't, out of respect, like I ain't even got no business in here talking with y'all. Y'all grown, y'all old, right? So let's listen to the wisdom of Elihu because he's gonna jump in this thing too. I actually want to read all of chapter 32. So let's go chapter 32, verse 1.
So these men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barkiel, the Buzite of the kindred of Ram. Against Job, his wrath was kindled because he justified himself rather than God. Also against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken because they were elder than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, then his wrath was kindled. And
So what
Elihu,
he's saying is when Elihu realized that there's no answer, they stopped talking. So after Job did his long diatribe, you know what I'm saying? Job just went from like chapter 24 all the way to 31. You know what I'm saying? Like he went on for a long time. We kind of skipped through it, but he went on for a very long time. So after Job did all that talking, he shut everybody up, right? Everybody else just like, man, ain't no hope talking to this man. You know what I'm saying? Because Job is more wise than them and he can out talk them, right? So he shut everybody up. And so when Elihu saw that they was done talking, he was mad. He looked like, Are y'all serious? Y'all ain't got nothing to say to Job? Because Job, he got a problem with Job too. But watch what Elihu says. Keep going.
When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, his wrath was kindled. And Elihu the son of Barachiel the Buzite answered and said, I am young, and you are very old. Wherefore I was afraid, and does not show you my opinion.
Right? He said, listen, because I was too young, I wasn't even going to speak my mind. You know what I'm saying? But watch this.
I said days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty gives them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Therefore I said, hearken to me, I also will show my opinion. Behold, I waited for your words, I gave ear to your reasons, while you searched out what to say. Yea, I attended unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job, or that answered his words.
Right? He's saying neither one of y'all convinced Job, nor could y'all talk. You know what I'm saying? Y'all couldn't combat what he was saying. Y'all couldn't disprove what he was saying. Keep going. So he's saying he disappointed in all these old folks, is what he's saying. It's a young boy, right? Young boy looking like, man, y'all, I'm disappointed in all y'all, right? Keep going. Watch this.
Lest ye should say, we have found out wisdom. God trusted him down, not man. God thrusted him down, not man. Now he hath not directed his words against me, neither will I answer him with your speeches. They
Right?
were
Now he's
made.
saying, listen, he's acknowledging, he's like, I'm a young boy, and Job didn't ask me nothing. He didn't direct none of his words at me, nor did he ask me anything. But at the same time, I'm not about to come at him the way y'all came at him. I'm not answering him with y'all speeches. Right? Watch what he say.
They were amazed. They answered no more. They left off speaking. When I had
When it says they were
waited,
amazed, they were shocked. Right? Because this, you could tell in the culture is not, in the culture they were living in, it's probably not typical for a young man to speak up in this way. Right? And with all this confidence and well spoken. You know what I'm saying? So they're looking at him, they're shocked, like, right? So let's see what the young man got to say.
when I had waited, for they spake not, but stood still and answered no more, I said, I will answer also my part. I also will show my opinion, for I am full of matter. The spirit within me constrains me. Behold, my belly is as wine which has no vent. It is ready to burst like new bottles. I will
Right? Now
speak.
he's describing what it feels like for the spirit that is in him. He's like, I'm gonna tell you my opinion because the spirit in me is making me. It says constrains me, but he's saying it's making me do this. So this is important, right? He's saying the spirit in me is making me do this, right? And then he goes on to say, man, I feel like wine is fermenting inside of my belly and I'm about to burst, right? So it's like you know how you shake a soda and you know the can get real tight. Like they gotta put it, yeah, they gotta put it in these tight cans that won't burst easily. You know what I'm saying? Because if you didn't, then it would just burst, right? And he's saying that's what it's like. He's like the wine in my stomach is it made me feel like I'm just about to burst. And he's not talking about actual wine, he's talking about the spirit, right? The spirit is filling him up, and it's so much that he want to say he feel like he's about to explode because the spirit is about to make him say all this stuff. Watch this.
I will speak that I may be refreshed. I will open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me give flattering titles unto man. For I know not to give flattering titles. In so doing, my Maker would soon take me away. Wherefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my speeches and hearken to all my words. Behold, now I have opened my mouth. My tongue is spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. If thou can answer me, set thy words in order before me. Stand up. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am
Listen,
formed out of the clay.
he said, I am according to your wish in God's stead. What Elihu was saying right now is, you know, when you ask for somebody who can talk to God on your behalf, right? Who can like speak to God and then tell you what God is saying and then take what you said and take it back to God. He said, that's me. What do you think Elihu was saying right now?
He said, let's just
He's
play out
saying
this
he
prayer.
is Yahushua. Pay attention. Watch this. Remember, Yahushua don't exist yet. Ain't nobody ever heard of it. This, that, and other. But this is Yahushua. This is the Most High God who's appeared in the flesh of a man, and that's the position who he's talking about. That's why he says, I'm what you asked for in God's stead. Watch this. Keep going.
I also am formed out of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not make thee afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon me. Surely thou hast spoken in my hearing, and I have heard the voice of thy word, saying, I am clean without transgression. I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me.
Right?
Behold,
He said, I heard your words when you said you ain't do nothing wrong. I hear you. But watch this.
behold, he finds occasions against me. He counts me for his enemy. He putteth my feet in the stocks. He marked all my paths. Behold, in
Right? He's quoting Job right now. So he's quoting back and just letting Job know, I hear you I hear all the stuff you saying about you a victim. You know what I'm saying? Most High God is, unrighteously hitting you off. You didn't do nothing wrong. You being punished for no reason. He's just quoting back his words like, I've been listening. I paid attention to what you said. Keep going.
behold, in this thou art not just. I will
Right? He
answer thee.
says, and this is the reason why you are not just. Watch this.
I will answer thee that God is greater than man. Why do you strive against him? For he gives not account of any of his matters. For God
Most
speaks,
High God ain't got to give you any account of his. In other words, he's telling him, why are you striving for him? Your whole purpose is for the Most High God to explain why he's doing what he's doing to you, right? He's telling you that's your purpose. Like you wanna go see God because you want to have an argument with him about how you live and how you don't believe you deserve this, and the Most High God to give you an account. Well, no, I did it this way because of this, and I did it this way because of this. He's looking like Most High God don't got to give no account to anybody, right? This is what a lie he was saying, right? Keep going.
for God speaks once, yea, twice, yet man perceives it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction, that he
Mm-hmm.
may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. Keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones was strong pain, so that his life abhorred bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yea, his soul draweth near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, when he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going down into the pit, I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be greater than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall
What
pray
do you
unto
think he's
God.
explaining right now? Let's read it again. Go back a couple verses.
His flesh
I'm
is
telling you, look, if y'all read what Elihu talking about, this is Yahushua talking, right? Listen to what he's saying. Go back a couple verses. Watch this.
his flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yea, his soul draws near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, Deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom.
Right? He said, if there be somebody that is a messenger, right, that can get a message out, that'll tell this person what's going on, and that person then is about to die, then he can tell him, nah, deliver him from the pit. Right? There might be a messenger that can give word to the Most High God and be like, nah, he don't have to go down. Right? So this person, this messenger, he talking about Yahushua, he's saying, look, this messenger could then say, God, no, I want him to be resurrected. And then watch him explain the resurrection.
I have found a ransom.
I found a ransom. In other words, I've paid for his debt. Right? So he said, if there be a messenger that paid for his debt and say to God, no, I paid for his debt. I got the ransom for his debt. Don't even send him to the pit. Right? Watch him explain the resurrection next.
His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him. And he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned and perverted that which was right, and it
In
profited
other
me.
words, if any say I have sinned, in other words, if anyone repent, watch this.
He will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light.
He's telling you, he's preaching the gospel right now. This is before any of this stuff, before law, before anybody. Elihu, who said, I got a spirit in me, and it's making me say this stuff, and now I'm about to burst. After he said that, guess who started talking? Yahushua. Because then he said, oh, you wanted somebody to talk to you? You know what I'm saying? In God's stead, that can get the message back and forth. You looking at him. Yahushua started talking through that man. The spirit of all prophecy is who?
Yahushua.
That got that. We think we reading about Elihu. No. Yahushua start talking to the man. As soon as he starts explaining, he trying to tell him, like, look, I'm happy y'all stopped because I feel like I'm about to burst from the inside. I got the spirit in me, and it's making me say this stuff. And I just got to relieve myself. What he said. He said, I just got to relieve myself and be refreshed. In other words, I got to get all this stuff out my system because I feel like I'm about to go crazy on the inside. Then that man started talking. Yahushua was like, I'll take it from here. Right? Oh, you wanted somebody who could say, that's me. Right? That's me. I'm the guy right here. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
He will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. Lo,
Mm-hmm.
are these things worketh God oftentimes with man, to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living? Mark well, O Job, hearken unto me, hold thy peace, and I will speak. If thou hast anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify thee. If
He
not,
says, speak because I what?
I desire to justify thee.
No, that part. Like, y'all have to understand who talking. Yahushua is saying, listen, if you got anything, listen to what I just said. If you feel like this is a moment that you got something to say, go ahead and say it. Because I want you to know my desire is to justify you. I'm not calling you a sinner, right? I'm not calling you unrighteous. That's not my point. What I want to do is bring you to justice, right? Remember, he said it's only in the fact that you said that the Most High God is punishing you for no reason, and that he don't know what he's doing, and maybe he forgot about you and he need to give you an account. He said it is in that you are unjust. Then at the very end, he said, listen, I'm going to take a little break here. If you got something to say it now, because my desire is to justify you. How can a man say that? This is Yahushua talking, right? Keep going. Or actually, jump over to chapter 34. What verse was that?
That was 32. We was at the end of 33.
All right, that was the end of 32. I mean 33.
Yeah.
Okay, this is this 34. Give me verse 5. So right here, Elihu, he's telling Job that he's accusing Most High God of injustice, right? He's making the Most High God wrong by the thing he's trying to teach Job. Like, where you making an error at is by saying you righteous and God must not know what he's doing. Now you're making God unrighteous. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the message you send it. This is verse 5.
Chapter 35.
Yeah, chapter 34, verse 5.
For Job hath said, I am righteous, and God has taken away my judgment. Should I lie against my right? My wound is incurable without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinketh up scorning like water, which goes in company with the workers of iniquity, and walks with wicked men? For he has said, It profiteth a man nothing that he should delight himself with God. Therefore,
Right? So you
hearken
remember
unto
when he
me.
said that? That he's like, man, it's worthless. Job, remember in part 1 last week when we were talking about this, you know what I'm saying? Job was like, it really don't do anybody any good. It don't give nobody any profit to do anything good. I think it was in like chapter 9, maybe chapter 10, right? He's like, it ain't no good if anybody is righteous, right? And Elihu, he had a problem with that. He's like, you saying it profit is nothing to be righteous. Keep going.
Therefore, hearken unto me, ye men of understanding. Far be it from God that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should commit iniquity. For the work of a man shall he render unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. Yea, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. Who has given him a charge over the earth, or who has disposed the whole world? If he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself the spirit, his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again into the dust, unto the dust.
Right? Jump on down to verse 31. So now, so at the beginning of the chapter, verse 5 down, what we just read is him telling them, like, Job, this is where you went wrong. Like, you thought that by saying what you saying, you're making God unjust. Like, you may not realize it, you may not be trying to do that, but by saying, yo, I'm righteous, and it ain't no profit of being righteous, because the Most High God don't even know this, or the Most High, by saying that, you're saying that God ain't fair, and therefore God ain't just. He's like, you're wrong for doing that. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may not realize you're doing it, but you're wrong. But then watch how Eliphaz teaches him how he should have approached everything. Right? Huh?
Elihu.
What else say?
Eliphaz.
Oh yeah, thank you. This is Elihu. Watch how Elihu teaches him what he should have done and how he should have approached his current situation. It's verse 31.
Surely it is meet to be said unto God, I have borne chastisement, I will not offend any more. That which I see not, teach thou me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more.
Right? He's telling them, this is what you should have said. Right? You should have said, look, if I messed up, teach it to me and I won't do it no more. He's like, this is how you should have been talking. Keep going. Watch this.
Should it be according to thy mind, he will recompense it, whether thou refuse or whether thou choose, and not I. Therefore speak what thou knowest. Let men of understanding tell me, and let a wise man hearken unto me. Job has spoken without knowledge, and his words were without wisdom. My desire is
Right? So he's saying, stop making assumptions. Just speak on what you know. And when you don't know, say you don't know. Right? That is for everybody. That is for everybody. Right? Be very clear. Like, man, look, I know this part for sure. I don't know this for sure. This is my guess, but it is only a guess. This is what I think. This is only what I think. But this is what I know for sure, and this is what I don't know for sure. He's saying, speak on what you know, and for everything else, say, hey, teach me. That's how you approach the Most High God, right? Jump on down to, jump over to chapter 35. So in chapter 35, at the very beginning, he picks apart Job's logic, right? So he started picking at Job's logic, and basically he just basically like, man, you just running your mouth. Like, Job, you think you got logic, but you just running your mouth. Watch how he pick it apart in the first half of this chapter. This is chapter 35, verse 1.
Elihu spake moreover and said, thinkest thou this to be right, that thou sayest my righteousness is more than God's? For thou said, what advantage will it be unto thee? And what profit shall I have if I be cleansed from my sin? I will answer thee in companions with thee, and thy companions with thee. Look unto the heavens and see, and behold, the clouds which are higher than you. If you sin, what dost thou against him? Or if thy transgressions be multiplied, what doest thou unto him? If thou be righteous, what givest thou him? Or what receives he of thine hand? The
Right?
wicked.
So he's picking apart Job's logic. He's looking at Job's logic was it's worthless for him to be righteous, right? So he's basically what he's saying is, okay, so by saying it's worthless for you to be righteous, then you must be saying that it profits God. Like, God wants you to be righteous, right? Job believes that. Job is like, this is what God wants me to do, to be righteous. So then it must be for a reason. So Job is saying, well, the reason ain't me. It don't do nothing for me to be righteous, because look what I'm going through, right? So then the implication is that it does something for God. God wants you to be righteous for his own benefit. So now Elihu, what he's doing is he's picking apart that logic. He's saying, okay, you said it's worthless for you to be righteous, but look up in the clouds. Just think about it. Think about everything that's going. In other words, look at nature. Look at everything that's going around you. If you unrighteous, what do you think it does for God? Right? Keep going. Watch this.
If thou sinnest, what doest thou against him? Or if your transgressions be multiplied, what doest thou unto him? If you be righteous, what do you give him? Or what does he receive of your hand? Thy wickedness may hurt a man as thou art, and thy righteousness may profit the Son of Man. By reason of the multitude of oppressions, they make the oppressed to cry. They cry out by reason of the arm of the mighty. But none saith, Where is God my Maker, who gives songs in the night, who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and maketh us wiser than the fowls of heaven? There they cry, but none gives answer, because the pride of evil men. Surely God will not hear vanity, neither will the Almighty regard it. Although you say you shall not see him, yet judgment is before him, therefore you trust in him. But now, because it is not so, he has visited in his anger, yet he knoweth not in great extremity. Therefore does Job open his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge.
Right? He's saying, Job, you just running your mouth. You doing a whole bunch of talking, but you really talking about stuff that you don't understand. And instead of just stopping and saying, honestly, I don't know why this is happening to me. I just need God to teach me. I mean, it could be this, it could be that, but ultimately, I really don't know, y'all. I just need God to teach me. He said, instead of just leaving it at that, you multiplying all these words and running your mouth and talking as if you righteous and God might be making a mistake and you want to see your date in court with him and you explain to him where he went wrong. He looked like, man, you out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, you out of pocket. Now, his friends were criticizing Job, but they were doing it for the wrong reasons. They were calling Job wrong too, but they were doing it for the wrong reasons. You notice what Elihu is accusing him of is very different from what his friends are accusing him of. His friends the whole time are saying, this is happening because you're a sinner, because you're wicked, because you made some type of mistake. All you have to do is repent. Right? But that's not why all this is happening. Everything Elihu was saying happened after all these events have happened. Elihu haven't talked about nothing that happened before the events happened. Right? Before his children got taken, before all his resources got taken, he haven't said nothing about his life beforehand. Everything he's talking about is how he's responding to it. Right? Job is responding to all this stuff happening by saying, "Oh man, God must have made a mistake." Right? And Elihu was saying, "Well, that's a problem." He's not even speaking on why stuff happened in the first place. He's just saying that you can't respond to it that way, right? So then, in the rest of this chapter, most of the next chapter, chapter 36, chapter 36 and 37, he ends up kind of going through and talking about just kind of he starts doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, pretty much flexing his knowledge, right? Flexing of how he knows God and how he knows how stuff works, and kind of describing and asking questions about how the world works and everything. So we're gonna skip that in the interest of time, and now we're gonna get to Most High God Himself. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get through Most High God Himself, and we're gonna look at chapter 38. Right, chapter 38, give me verse 1.
Then Yahuwah answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge?
Right? So he asked the question, who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? He talking about all of them, except for Elihu. Right? He talking about all four of them boys, all four of them old men that run in their mouth and they darkening counsel. In other words, you're not making things more clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're giving counsel, but what you're saying is not really clearing things up. Right? And it's a lot of that happening nowadays. There's a lot of people giving people advice or answering questions for people and they're doing stuff. But while they're doing it, they're not telling them the truth. And therefore, even if it feels more clear when people say it, it's not really more clear. It's just going to lead them to the next camp or the next church or the next mosque that's going to lie to them again. Right? So he said, who is this that darkeneth counsel without knowledge? Keep going.
Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer you me.
Right? So this is the Most High God talking to Job. He said, in our today's language, it'll be tighten up your darn belt because I'm about to talk to you and I want you to answer me. Right? You telling me this whole time you talking about, oh, if I just could talk to God, I would tell this and then he can respond to me. No. Now I'm about to ask you some questions. I'm about to ask you a question And now I want you to respond to me. Keep going. Watch this.
Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare it if you have understanding.
Right? He's about to walk through everything and show Job how much he doesn't know. How much he doesn't. That's the point. I want y'all to know the point as we read it. What the Most High God is trying to do is expose to Job everything that he hasn't considered about how much he doesn't know. Right? How much is out there that you have to trust God for because you have no answer for it. Right? You worried about not knowing why this thing is happening to you, but you live your whole life comfortable not understanding why anything else happens. You don't know why the sun come up. You don't know why the sun go down. You don't know why this happens. You don't know why that happens. You don't know why the bird that like. But you've never stressed out and you've never sat and said, why is this happening, God? And why don't I know why? Right? This is the point that the Most High God is trying to get across. It's like, it's a lot of stuff your butt don't know. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
Who hath laid the measures thereof? Who has laid the measures thereof, if you know? Or who has stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy.
That's talking about what we improperly call angels sometimes. But he said when the morning stars, that's a reference to the celestial beings or the heavenly beings, right? Or the sons of God. Again, celestial beings or heavenly beings. What people commonly think of or refer to as angels, and what non-believers, right? People who don't believe, that's probably what they think of as aliens, believe it or not, right? When he say morning stars and sons of God, that's what if one of these things popped up on somebody today, they would probably say I saw an alien. Right? I just want y'all to understand, you know what I'm saying, what he's talking about. Keep going.
Or who shut up the sea with doors when it brake forth as if it had issued out of the womb? When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness a swaddling band for it, and break up for it my decreed place, and set bars and doors, and said, hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall you proud waves be stayed. Have you commanded the morning since the days, and caused the day spring to know its place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it? Is it turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment? And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. Have you entered into the springs of the sea, or have you walked in the search of the depth? Have the gates of death been opened unto thee, or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death?
Right? So the Most High God continues to do this for 2 chapters, right? He does it all of chapter 38 and 39, right? But then go into chapter 40. The Most High God ends up taking a break, right? And watch what he say to Job. Watch what Job say to God. It's
Moreover,
chapter 40, verse 1.
Yahuwah answered Job and said, shall he that contend with the Almighty instruct him? He that reproves God, let him answer it. Then Job answered Yahuwah and said, behold, I am vile. What shall I answer you? I will lay my hand upon my mouth. Once have I spoken, but I will not answer. Yea, twice, but I will proceed no further.
Right? So now Job get to hear from the Most High God. No answer, God. Look, Most High God didn't answer one of Job's questions. Remember, the whole time, all this talking Job been doing, he been saying, man, just give me my day in court. I'ma lay out my case to it, right? I'ma tell him, I did this right. I did this right. I've been good. I did all this. Now the Most High God showed up to him in a whirlwind, right? And when they say whirlwind, it's saying tornado, right? So he showed up to him in a tornado. You know what I'm saying? I like to imagine lightning striking all over the place, big old tornado, and it's just staying in one place, right? I like to imagine that thing just standing when something impossible is happening. Like I ain't never seen a tornado just stand in one place. That thing just going around, and Job looking at it, wind blowing. Job looking at it, and then he hear a voice pop out of that thing, and it's asking him questions. It's like, you don't know this, and you don't know that. tell me when this happened. Remember, Most High God started off said, you know what? Let me ask you a couple questions, and then you answer me, right? So he asked him all these darn questions, and then he stopped and asked Job a question. So like, let me ask you, are you gonna instruct me? Right? Read verse 1 again. Watch this.
Now he that contend with the Almighty instruct him.
Right? Are you contending with me? Are you gonna instruct me? Then Job responds, Job, look. You know what I'm saying? Listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm vile. I'm a mess. You know what I'm saying? Hear me out. I'm a mess. I'm unclean out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got it. I spoke once, but to my own shame, I spoke twice, but I'm about to shut my darn mouth. Right? Job ain't got nothing to say now because now he gets, Most High God haven't answered one question. He haven't answered not one of Joseph. Only thing he did is ask questions. But all of a sudden now Job don't want to speak. He's scared. He look like, nah, I ain't got nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? Most of God speak, I ain't got nothing to say. Watch this. Keep going.
Where was I?
You should have been at like verse 3.
Oh,
verse
yeah.
4.
Then answered the Lord unto Job out of the whirlwind and said, Gird up thy loins now like a man. I will demand of thee and declare it unto me. Will you also disannul my judgment? Will you condemn me that you may be righteous?
That's the one. That's the one. He said, tighten up your belt, boy. I'm about to keep talking to you. Right? He said, let me ask you something. Are you going to disannul my judgment so that you might be right? I want us, that is, for me, out of the entire Bible, it's in my top 10 of most impactful verses, right? Because what he's saying is, I run the whole show. Everything that happens, I make the call. So if I have something happen and you continue, you properly went to me. He didn't go to Satan, he didn't condemn Satan, nothing. He probably went to the Most High God, right? That's what he was supposed to do. But when you come to me and you say, hey, God, you must have made a mistake. It's pretty much what Job's whole message is about. It's like, God must have like made a mistake or he missed something. Only if I had a chance to show him that, like, hey, I'm Job. I did everything you asked me to do. Then the Most High God would let up. So Job feels like he has to show something to God because God made a mistake. So what he's saying is, you would rather call what I'm doing a mistake just so you can maintain your righteousness because you can't see you can't see a world in which I'm doing this to you and you're righteous, right? Like that doesn't make sense to Job. So Job feels like he has one, it's either one or the other, right? And so either God is unrighteous or God made a mistake or God did something wrong or Job did something wrong. And Job is saying, I know I didn't do nothing wrong, so God must have been done something wrong. So the Most High God is asking him a question. You prefer to disannul my judgment just so you can be righteous. And Job does that, but guess what? Every one of us do that anytime that we make ourselves right outside of what the book is saying. Right? Every single Christian that stands and says, all you have to do is say this prayer and you'll be saved, has disannulled God's judgment and made themselves righteous. Every Christian that say, it is nothing about what you do, right? God don't make you love you any more or any less, no matter what you do. They have disannulled God's judgment and they made themselves righteous. Every Hebrew Israelite that tells you, you going to hell if you don't keep the law. If you eat pork, you going to hell. You have disannulled God's righteousness and you have made yourself righteous. Right? All these different things that the Most High God has put in place, all we have to do is speak according to the knowledge that we know. And if you don't know it, shut your darn mouth. That's all he asks of us. Speak according to the oracles or shut up. And there's a lot of people running their mouth. It's a lot of people darkening counsel without knowledge. It's a lot of people that won't shut up. And the unfortunate part about it is y'all not righteous like Job. So the Most High God ain't going to give you the same grace that this is grace that he giving Job right now, right? This is all grace. We may not see it that way. Job may not felt that way, but this is grace. You know what's worse? Getting chastised by the Most High God through a line of questioning, or just God not even speaking to you.
God not speaking to you.
Right? God ain't going to speak to a lot of y'all. Y'all not going to deal. A lot of y'all that call yourself teachers, that stand up here and try to create your own doctrines, or y'all think y'all own to something because you read one page of the Bible, right? You think you ready to start your own religion now because you done read a chapter or two? You haven't even tried to dedicate yourself to understand this book, and you jump immediately to Twitter and start trying to teach people. Jump immediately to Facebook and Instagram, posting pictures and stuff, trying to teach people about God, trying to give your opinion about stuff. And you have no idea what you're talking about. You haven't sat down to understand this book. You feel like you understand one book of the Bible, and you don't. It's the same thing that Job's friends are doing. It's the same thing that Job was doing, right? The only one that spoke appropriately was Elihu, and he spoke only from the spirit of the Most High God. Every single day, anytime you wrong go out what the Most High God is doing, you may think of it as, oh, it was just a simple mistake. But in reality, what you're doing is you disannul his judgment and you make yourself righteous. Job is teaching us something right now. Keep going.
Hast thou an arm like God, or can you thunder with a voice like him? Deck yourself now with majesty and excellency, and array thyself with glory and beauty. Cast abroad the rage of thy wrath, and behold, everyone that is proud, and obeys him. Look on everyone that is proud, and bring him low, and tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together, and bind their faces in secret. Then will I also confess unto thee that thine own right hand can save thee. Behold
Right?
now.
He's saying, look, just I tell you what, look at everybody on earth and abase them, make them low. Put them back into the dust and bind them together where they can't do nothing. Right? He's telling you some stuff that he's done already. He's saying, we don't even know this stuff, right? But he's saying, I've taken people, I've bound them in the dust where they can't move. And he's telling Job, go ahead and do it. Deck your own self with majesty, right? Go ahead and do it. And if you can do that, then I can say, okay, your own right. Then you can talk to me, right? He's telling you, if you can do that, I'll admit that your own right hand can save you. And even that is talking about the Messiah, right? Keep going.
Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee. He eats grass like an ox. Lo now his strength in his loins, and his force in the navel of his belly. He moves his tail like a cedar, and the sinews of his stones are wrapped together. His bones
Right?
are as stones from brass.
We're gonna skip these. I want y'all to read this in our Bible in the Year reading starting tomorrow. We starting at Job 1. So we're gonna read through all this, and I want y'all to pay attention to everything that he's saying. It's gonna be a lot of questions when we go through Job, especially when we get to these chapters. And so we'll talk a lot about them on our fellowship call or inside of the app. But I want y'all to read this and pay a lot of attention to what the Most High God is asking, because there's wisdom in his questions, right? He's asking questions, and in the questions, he's kind of telling us some stuff too, some stuff that we're not aware of today, some stuff we don't see today, right? And it's some stuff that if you explain it to people that's walking around today that rely on science, they would say, "Oh, no way." But then one day they're gonna dig up something, and when they dig it up, they're gonna be like, "Hey, look, we found that there's this thing, this great large animal, this, that, and other. It must have been some type of dinosaur that maybe potentially it breathes fire." Right? And they're gonna feel like they discovered something when the Most High God been talking about this the whole time. Right? But we'll kind of deal with that. Jump over to the last chapter, chapter 42. This chapter 42, give me verse 1.
Then Job answered Yahuwah and said, I know that thou can do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hides
Hold
counsel?
on, real quick. Sister Pamela asked a question. So Sister Pamela said, "So should everyone shut up? Who can talk?" Right? And that's exact. Yes, that's exact. Shut up. Everybody, shut up. Everybody, shut up. Elihu gave us the answer already. Right? Elihu, he explained to us. Jump on back real quick, just so we can reread what Elihu said. Right? So Elihu gave us the answer. He in chapter 34. Give me verse 31. So pay attention to what he says, Sister Pamela, because he gives Job exactly how he should have approached this situation.
Surely it is meet or good. Surely it is good to be said unto God, I have borne chastisement. I will not offend any more. That which I see not, teach thou me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more.
Right? That's how he should have approached this. So yes, if you don't know it, don't speak on it. Shut up. You can speak on everything that you know. You can speak on everything that's a fact. You can speak on everything that's documented, everything that's written, right? But if you don't know it, don't speak on it. And that's what they have all spent a lot of. They didn't know that Job sinned. They were guessing. So they shouldn't have spoke on it. They could have said, hey, Job, did you sin? Are you sure you didn't sin? I mean, because sometimes people sin and they, you know what I'm saying, they kind of forget that they sin or whatever. Or sometimes people sin they didn't know they sinned. That would have been a profitable conversation because they not stating nothing as a fact. They just asking questions. Or they saying, hey, I think you might have sinned when that's fine too, because they saying they think, right? But to say as a matter of fact, Job, you must be wicked because X, Y, and Z happened, and this is what we see happen to the wicked. You don't know that. You know how much you don't know, right? We don't know. So when we don't know something, we just need to shut up, right? When we don't know something, we should be doing exactly what Elihu just said. I don't know. Teach me, and I won't do it again. If Job had done that, the Most High God popped up to him in a whirlwind and talked to him. Who's to say the Most High God wouldn't have talked to him if he did that? Now, of course, all this had to happen the way it happened because the Most High God is going to teach us from it, right? It's all documented this way for our learning. And so that's the reason why the Most High God like the Most High God knew all this was going to happen and he wanted it to happen because he wanted it to be a teaching moment. So that's why at the very beginning, he went to Satan and he said, yo, 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 you know what I'm saying? Have you considered Job? Call Satan over. He said, have you considered Job? And then you know what I'm saying? He told Job, all right, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? You can attack all he has. And then Satan came back and he looked like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you consider Job? He still maintained his righteousness. All right, go ahead. You can touch his skin. Right? So the Most High God caused all that to happen because he knew that Job was going to, one, maintain his righteousness, but he also knew because of all his righteousness, Job was going to be confused. Like, man, why in the world? I thought I was good. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. Did that and other. And he knew Job was going to get out of pocket. Then he knew he was going to send Elihu to come correct him. And then he knew after Elihu corrected him, after Yahushua had a chance to talk to him, now he meet the maker. Right? Now he meet him. Right? Then that's when the whirlwind come up and he started talking to him. So it's a teachable moment, and that's what we're about to see in chapter 42. Right? Oh, sorry. In chapter 42, we're about to see exactly that.
Then answered Yahuwah and said, I know that you can. Then Job answered Yahuwah and said, I know that you can do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hides counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Here I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now my eyes seeth thee. Wherefore I abhor myself and repent in dust and ashes.
Right? So now look, anybody who's doing in our Bible in a year, when we get to this, anybody who's doing the manifestations of God, this is one of them, right? A whirlwind is one of the manifestations. Because Job just said, I've heard of you, but now I see you. But the book say only thing he saw was a whirlwind. Right? So the Most High God manifested himself as a whirlwind. Right? So if we were to be fair about the Trinity theory, right? The Trinity theory is that God manifested himself in three separate but union ways or whatever. whatever tricky way they say, whatever confusing way they try to write that thing. You read it as the God is 3 individual persons in one, or some crazy stuff they be saying, right? So it's like, well, the whirlwind got to be in there too, right? Because he manifested himself as a whirlwind. Like, you got to include that. You got to include that. We read Genesis. You got to include the angel. You know what I'm saying? That Jacob wrestled with. You got to include the angel that went out and saved Hagar and the boy, right? You got to include the one of the 3 men that popped up on Abraham, right? All of these are ways that we saw that people felt like they was talking to the Most High God. That's how he manifested himself. So here he manifested himself to Job, and Job was like, "Man, I saw you with my own eyes. I used to run my mouth. I admit it. Listen, I was talking about stuff that I didn't know nothing about, stuff too wonderful for me." He said, "Listen, let me just relax." Keep going.
And it was so that after the Lord had spoken these words unto Job, the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is kindled against you and against your 2 friends, for you have not spoken of me the thing that is right, as my servant Job has. Therefore, take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering, and my servant Job shall pray for you. For him will
Right?
all
Who is he talking to right now?
his friends.
And they being chastised, ain't they?
Yeah.
So now I want y'all to ask y'all a question, because people see this so wrong. I want y'all to ask yourself a question. Is it better for the Most High God to chastise you or to not speak to you?
Chastised.
Nobody in this situation is a bad person in the sense that we think about it. The Most High God had grace and mercy on every one of them, because every one of them knew something about God. Most High God knew that they didn't have enough information to be correct. Most High God knew that he was setting their butt up. This was a setup. The whole thing from the beginning was a setup. And they were all as faithful as they could be through that setup. So guess what? At the end of it, the Most High God spoke to all of them. When you don't hear from God, that's a problem. It's a lot of y'all that are sinners that never gonna hear from God. Most High God never gonna do nothing for you because you a hypocrite. These men, even the friends that we've been taught to look at as evil, horrible friends, even them, the Most High, did it say the Most High God told Job to talk to him?
No.
Did it say the Most High God told Elihu to talk to him?
Mm-mm.
He talked to Eliphaz directly. And he said, you and your 2 friends, go ahead, make a sacrifice, but give it to Job, because I mess with Job. But he spoke to them directly and told them what they needed to do to be clean. That's mercy from the Most High God. And we know from our law, who does he give mercy to?
You're going to give mercy on the ones I'll show mercy.
He said he give mercy to those who keep his commandments and love him for thousands of generations.
That's right.
Or not thousands of generations, but for thousands that love him and keep his commandments.
I was thinking that I'll give mercy on whom I will, and what was the other one?
I
And
give mercy who I will, and yeah, I forgot what is the other side.
I forgot the other one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right? So if you look at it, all of this is mercy. All of this is the grace of the Most High God. A lot of times we look at it and we imagine like, oh, he got on them. What that mean when he get on you? What I'm looking for? What is that in Hebrews? Hebrews what? Is it 11? It ain't 11. Is it 10? Give me Hebrews
The
10.
Lord chastens those whom he love.
Yeah.
I don't remember, bro.
Give me Hebrews 10. Give me verse 1. Let me see. I know it ain't 11 because 11 start off
The faith.
with definition of faith, and then it go on to all these examples of faith. Maybe it come right after the definition of faith. Let me see what 10 say. Let me see the beginning of 10.
For the law having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with these sacrifices which they
That can't
offer.
be it, can it? It got, try 11, but give me verse 3 or 2.
You know, the faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence
That's
of things
2.
not seen. And then for it by the elders obtain a good report.
Ooh, what is it? Is it 8 maybe? What verse is that?
I do not remember.
You cheat. Try to see it. Oh, it's 12. Give me Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Thanks, Sister Pamela. It's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Watch what the book say.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin
Guess what one of those witnesses are? Job. Right? When he says we're compassed about, we're surrounded by so many witnesses. In other words, so many people who are telling us who God is and how we should deal with God, right? Job is one of them, because he's in the book, and this is explaining to us how we should deal with God, right? He's telling us we compass about with so many witnesses, Job being one of them. Keep going.
Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down on the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against him, lest you be wearied and faint in your minds. Ye have not resisted
Pay
unto
attention to what
blood.
he's saying. He said, consider that Yahushua dealt with a lot of people contradicting him. In other words, telling him he's wrong, right? And it's a lot of people that was against him. Consider what he went through, or else you gonna mess around and faint and you gonna give up. Right? Keep going.
Ye have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin.
Mm-hmm.
You have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as the children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of Yahuwah, nor faint when you are rebuked of him. For whom Yahuwah loves, he chastens, and scourges every son whom he receives. You
He
endure.
loves those who he chastens. Job didn't know that. His friends didn't know that. And clearly, a lot of the people that look at the book and then accuse Job's friends as being evil and unrighteous and all that, they don't know it either. Right? When we look at the end of the book of Job, not only was Job restored all the different things and even more, right? Restored back to the place he was, but the Most High God continued to bless him, right? His friends make the sacrifice and everybody gets set in order. And now we have something that we can learn from and we can understand from the Most High God, right? That's the book of Job. You're not going to find many people that teach it correctly because a lot of these people don't understand this book, right? But it's important when you look into the book of Job or you look at any book in this side of the Bible, it's important that you put yourself in it. You imagine it as it was, right? Stop reading this stuff as if it's just a story, as if it's supposed to be perfect, as if it's supposed to be, have like a perfect fairy tale ending, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we be reading in all these other books and movies and stuff. No, this stuff is real life. You can relate to it when you look at it like real life, right? We've been so conditioned to believe in fairy tales that we walk into the book expecting it to be a fairy tale. And if it were like a fairy tale, guess what we'd say? Man, that's just a fairy tale. That ain't real. God can't darn win. He give you real life, and you're like, I don't know, I don't understand it because it don't fit what I expected, right? And then he lay it out like a fairy tale for you. You be like, nah, that's a fairy tale. That's unbelievable. It can't darn win, right? Look at it like real life, like it's real people, like it's complicated, just like real life is, like it's nuanced, like a real life is. You do that and you understand it from that perspective, you'll get this book and you can learn from these folks. Any questions? All right, well, let's pray out.